All right, so Brian Flores is mad that the Texans hired a black coach. My name is Nathan Laurie. If you are new here, we talk about the law and the facts. If you're about that life, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. All right, guys, listen, I love a good lawsuit just like everyone else. And if you've been watching my content on the Brian Flores situation, you know that I don't think the lawsuit has legs. I think it's a PR lawsuit, which is fine. You got to do what you got to do. And obviously the NFL feels that they have issues, right? They are talking to Al Sharpton and stuff about the issue. So that's all well and good. But it seems like now he's really just throwing the kitchen sink. So let me give you a little background on what's been going on. Brian Flores was applying for the job at the Houston Texans. He was one of the finalists with another coach, Lovie Smith. He was the former coach from the Chicago Bears, and he was actually coach of the year one year. He took his team to the Super Bowl. He lost to Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And he was the associate head coach of the Texans, and he got elevated. He got the job. So Brian Flores is now adding to his lawsuit, saying that the Houston Texans, the only reason why they didn't hire him is because of retaliation. So what they did was hire another token black guy. It's unbelievable. So here's a story from Yahoo News. Brian Flores will amend his lawsuit to include a claim against the Texans for retaliation. Plenty of people think that it's fine for a company to slam the door in the face of a current or former employee who has the audacity to file a lawsuit against it. I think we kind of see how this article by Yahoo Sports is going. It's not fine. It's a violation of the right of the person who filed the claim and then was shunned. Well, if I'm trying to apply for a job with you, then I file a lawsuit calling you racist and you don't hire me, do you really fault the company and saying, oh, well, we're not going to hire this guy? And on top of that, then they go hire another black guy, right? So the racists against black people go and hire another black guy to show you how racist they are. This is what we got to deal with. It's a point that soon will play out for the NFL and the landmark litigation filed against it by former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores. In addition to the pending claims against the league, the Dolphins, the Broncos, and the Giants, a source with knowledge of the situation tells PFT that the case will be amended to state a retaliation claim against the Texans for failing to hire Flores. All right, so without going any farther, let's do this. Let's look at their Wikipedia pages. Let's look at their Wikipedia pages just to compare the two candidates, right? So first, let's check out Brian Flores. So here we are on Wikipedia, and he was only a head coach once for the Miami Dolphins, and that was from 19 to 2021. He was the New England Patriots scouting coach and their pro scout as an executive, as a coach. He has 4 Super Bowl championships, but not as a coach. That's as a linebackers coach and assistant offense and special teams coach. So he has no rings as a coach and hasn't even been to the playoffs as a coach. And he's sub 500 for the regular season. So he has a losing record as a head coach. Okay, so that's Brian Flores. So again, we're just looking at their resumes just to see. Here is Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith, now he's the head coach of the Texans. Look at this head coaching history. Damn. He was a head coach, Chicago Bears from 2004 to 2012. He's got a lot of coaching experience. So he almost had 8 years with Chicago. He was NFL Coach of the Year in 2005. He was the associate head coach and defensive coordinator currently of the Houston Texans, and now is the head coach. So he was with Tampa Bay before that as the head coach. Then he went to Illinois as a head coach. So this guy has a lot of head coaching experience. What's his record? Well, he's got a winning record in the regular season in the NFL. He's even at the postseason. He's got a Super Bowl appearance, and he was coach of the year. So those are essentially the resumes of the two coaches, right? One coach has been to the Super Bowl, has playoff appearances. The other one has never been to the playoffs as a head coach. This is what we're talking about. So the records of these two coaches are not even close, right? One guy has over like a decade's worth of experience as a head coach and has taken his team to the Super Bowl, right? Many playoff appearances, taking his team to the championship game and the Super Bowl, and was coach of the year. And this other guy has 3 years of coaching experience, doesn't even have a winning record as a head coach, right? Maybe for one season, but overall. And on top of that, has never been to the playoffs. Okay, not saying Brian Flores is a bad coach, but just let's look at the resumes. So based on the resumes, who would you hire? Would you hire Lovie Smith or would you hire Brian Flores? If you're asking me to judge it, and again, I'm just asking you as someone who, may love football or may just be looking at this objectively. If you saw those two resumes in front of you, which one would you be more likely to hire? Who would have to come from behind to actually get that job? I would think it would be Flores, right? He's been to the Super Bowl, right, under some other head coach, but he has never led a team to the playoffs, right, or to the Super Bowl. But yet, they hired the wrong guy. All right. So obviously, the Texans will never admit that they passed over Flores for an illegal reason. No, right? But and again, I love how they just throw out it's for an illegal reason. But here, really, if ever does an employer confess to improper motivations for employment decisions, proof of retaliatory intent would come from other less obvious forms of evidence. Flores was one of 3 finalists for the job. Then the job went to Lovie Smith. Common sense suggests that the Texans realized they couldn't hire unproven and unexperienced Josh McCown. Of course, well, makes sense, right? You got someone who's been to the Super Bowl, right? The coach of the year. Why would you hire someone? To me, that guy was the front runner for the job, and he's already on staff. And they wouldn't hire Flores, because you've never even been to the playoffs. Your first head coaching job was with Miami. So they call Smith because Smith became the compromise candidate, arguably thrown into the mix late to allow the Texans to avoid hiring Smith. So there's a lot of innuendo and inferences being made here with no evidence, right? The guy has a better resume. Now, Brian Flores may be right. I want to be very clear. He may be totally right with what he's saying. But looking at those resumes, how do you prove it? How do you prove it? And this whole argument he's making hinges on one thing. He's saying that he was destined for that. That was his job. How do you prove that? Not with those resumes, right? How do you prove that? Cases like this are proven through a careful review of the documents, such as emails and text messages. Also, key witnesses will be grilled aggressively during depositions in an effort to test their stories. That's even if you get there. And ideally, from Flores' perspective, to blow holes in them. Regardless of how it plays out, it's coming. So we can see how fairly the news media is playing this, right? Look at it. NBC's reporting it. Clutch is reporting it. So listen, people. Let me just be honest here with you guys. This lawsuit, I don't know about it. It doesn't seem like there's anything here. If Brian Flores was Lovie Smith and this happened, possibly, right? Possibly. But Lovie Smith checks all the boxes. Essentially, he is upset that they hired the wrong black coach. Just imagine that. His whole thing is the NFL's not hiring enough black coaches. They hire a black coach and it's still a problem. You hired the black guy. He's a nobody. He's a compromised candidate. But you're like, hold on. He was literally their associate head coach. And I was coach of the year before. What are you talking about? He's literally calling him a token black guy. And now he's going to say that the Texas job was his for sure. It was his for sure. But because of racism, they didn't hire him as a black man. They hired some other black man. No. It's retaliation for filing a lawsuit, calling NFL racist, right? Calling everybody racist. So they said, well, you know what? Let's not get involved in that. Let's hire former coach of the year. Am I being crazy? Am I being too hard on Brian Flores' lawsuit? Like, honestly, like at a point, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't really see anything here. But I could be wrong. I could be looking at it through a lens that isn't woke enough for whatever reason. But at this point in time, this is just getting ridiculous, right? If they would have hired a white guy, I would even say like, okay, maybe you got something, the guy wasn't even a coach before. Maybe even that's going to be hard to prove. But Lovie Smith, Lovie Smith? He just literally doubled the amount of black coaches in the league with what hiring. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Am I crazy? Am I just off my rocker? Or is this the wrong way to go? Again, my name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'm out of here. Peace.